About 100,000 served from New Zealand, from a population of just over 1 million. So, it's an extraordinary percentage. And 50% of those 100,000 were either killed or wounded or died of sickness or were missing, which meant effectively killed. So, it affected the whole country enormously.
People didn't really want to know what they'd gone through, and so there's a great degree of amnesia involved in our society. We put that war behind us, and yes, you suffered, that's fine, and we understood time, but let's get on with things and look ahead.
Beyond that, there wasn't really a lot of training. If you were badly wounded, then you might do basket weaving and things like that, which some of the men felt, was an insult to their masculinity. Others took advantage of it and came right again through it. And of course, here in Dunedin, if you had terrible face wounds, then you were in one of the pioneer spots of plastic surgery in the world, partly because of that combo of dental school and medical school here. And so the foundation dean of the dental school, Herbert Pickerel, was able to have quite a big impact through his work in plastic surgery, and of course Harold Gillies as well.
One of his pupils was the chief plastic surgeon in the Second World War, and it was his job to rebuild faces and everything of particularly RAF pilots who'd been burnt. And so the lessons learned from the First World War were developed and applied in the Second World War.
So in some ways, those guys, terrible as their wounds were better off than those that didn't look as if they'd been damaged. And that's the whole hidden thing that no one's ever really got at very much.
But I think we're quite well served by a lot of the historical work that's been done in this war commemorative period, in all sorts of quite inventive ways.
Because the crosses down there at the moment, there's 3,988 of those, and that's just for Otago and Southland alone.
So we don't know who the great leaders of the mid-20th century would have been, and the direction they might have taken. Every country could have been quite different, but we lost them, and we don't know now what would have happened with their contribution.
I argue with my students that perhaps it pushed both gender and race relations back about a generation, because it took a while to sort all that out. And certainly the soldiers wanted to go backwards, not forwards, to the lovely country that New Zealand was before, in comparison with what they'd experienced in Turkey and the Western Front.
There's a lot of talk about New Zealanders becoming a nation and that sort of stuff on Gallipoli, just like Australia, but I disagree with that. I think New Zealanders were a distinct nationality long before Gallipoli, through various other reasons, and that Gallipoli and other events just confirmed our nationality and the pride in being a New Zealander rather than an immigrant from Britain or from Ireland or from wherever.
I think people are a wee bit sick of it all now, and we haven't had to do anything. We haven't had to face endless casualty lists in the newspapers every week and people we know, having suffered these close losses. We haven't had to do any of that. But even so, it seems like it's been going on a long time, this war commemoration. So at the time, it must have just been completely something that you were just over.
During the Second World War, a very good Southland writer called Dan Davin was for a while an intelligence officer with the New Zealand Division, and someone asked him how long the war would last, and he replied, for the rest of our lives.
The sort of shadow of the two wars goes deep into the 20th century in New Zealand, and but what the exact legacy is for a whole lot of people to work out very slowly and carefully.